Sentomaru just keeps taking L's. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode, let me make sure I get the number right, 1126 of One Piece. And it looks like Luffy is about to face Kizaru. A fight that has been a long time in the making since pre-time skip with the Shabandi Archipelago. But we are finally going to get it. Of course, Luffy's probably going to have to go Gear 5th. Like, he's not going to stand much of a chance otherwise. So it's going to be interesting to see how Gear 5th handles Kizaru's light speed. Because Sentomaru, for as tough and strong as he was, couldn't do shit. Let's be honest. Meanwhile, Zoro is going after Lucci, so that's a pretty interesting fight in and of itself. And yeah, just shit's continuing to go down with the Vice Admirals taking action, Kizaru having taken control of the Pacifistas and the Seraphim and everything. It's just shit's going down. That's pretty much the long and short of it. But that's what we watch One Piece for. That's the exciting, awesome shit that this series really does well. So I think we should just get into it and see what we have in store. So let's do so. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah. This was definitely an interesting start to this fight, kind of. I mean, it didn't even start the episode. We got this big, long part with Kuma first, and Sakazuki. And the Celestial Dragons. I guess they were there too, but... It's really interesting too, because it shows that like everyone already kind of knew that Bonnie was Kuma's daughter. This was like common knowledge, at least in the world government and Marines. So that raises some interesting questions. And I want to go back to a part here. I'm going to mute it, obviously, so we don't have any copyright issues, but I want to go back to when Sakazuki in the past was talking to Bonnie after, I guess, rescuing her from Blackbeard. It looks like that's where Blackbeard had her captured before. When I heard you escaped from the government, I felt my blood freeze. She was in the government's hold? Why? like, what? She escaped from the government. And now Kuma's doing the same thing. Why was she in the government's hold? I assume, obviously, this is prior to the events of Shabandi. But how soon before? That's the question. I guess we'll have to find out if it expands upon it further. But Kuma escaping, going to Marijois, and then the brief fight with Sakazuki before leaving again. I think he might be trying to get back to Bonnie. I don't know how he knows, but I think he knows Bonnie's in danger. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes into play. Meanwhile, we had a part one of Kizaru and Luffy, with Luffy going Snake Man. It wasn't enough. I said it in the pre-thoughts and everything. Luffy's not going to stand a chance without Gear 5th, without Nika. And luckily at the end, that's what he goes into. It's able to save him from going into the barrier and everything. And it's able to have him turn the tides on the fight with Kizaru, which is about to obviously continue after a short break. Kizaru destroyed Vega Force 1, but it seems like the sleeping robot is waking up, which could be a very big deal. The question is, what's it going to do when it does wake up? Will it be on our side? Will it help us fight? I don't think it's going to help the government, considering like everything we know about it, right? Or is it just going to try to leave? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Bonnie was kicked away, and I mean, maybe Luffy saved her. We know she's going to be fine. Maybe Luffy saved her, but we haven't actually seen what happened after that yet. And we still have not gotten a super from Frankie, from his new VA. We had a radical beam, or, well, most of it in this, but we didn't get a super. And they're really holding out on us. Because, again, it's wild, because Frankie was, post time skip in general, but especially lately, he's been saying super a lot. Like, almost constantly. So, it's wild that suddenly he's just not saying it at all. And, like, there's a side of me that's wondering if they're going to, like, make it, like, much less common now because of how connected it was to Kazuki Yao's voice. I don't know how it is in the manga. I just don't. So I can't say regarding that. But this episode is definitely leaving a lot of curiosities in regards to not just that, but a lot of things. I don't really know where this fight is going to go. I don't know if the Vice Admirals are going to somehow get involved. We didn't see anything with Lucci and Zoro in this one. And there's still the looming threat of Saint Saturn in the wings. That's going to come into play at some point. I feel like the rest of this arc is just going to be pure insanity. It's going to be constant go, go, go. Whether it's tackling the Luffy stuff, whether it's about when we get to the Bonnie and Kuma backstory, or just all of the other big reveals that are going to happen clearly in this arc. I don't know what to expect. Like I've said before, I'll say it again. I know a few things. I know a few things here and there, but I only know them out of context. I don't have the context for anything that I know. And it's a matter of, like, I basically saw them, like, because the One Piece fandom, especially on Twitter and whatnot, is atrociously bad with spoilers. So it's like I saw them, like, randomly scrolling through. I didn't, like, stop to, like, focus on them. I will say, there is one thing that is hinted at very strongly in this episode, but I'm going to still not say what it is because it wasn't technically revealed. And so I still consider it a spoiler. It is one thing that I do know, but it's hinted at in this episode. I'll leave it at that. I'm definitely curious to see if Kuma does end up arriving in Egghead. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with all these battles. Will Kizaru even be able to escape Luffy while he's like this? I don't know how all that's going to work. Because Luffy can definitely manipulate Kizaru's physiology and whatnot with his devil fruit here. again, there's just a lot of questions, a lot of things that we're just going to have to wait and find out. But for the time being, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of One Piece? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.